All right, hello and welcome back to Borderline FPL, the podcast that constantly crosses the line between fantasy Premier League advice and Premier League related banter. My name's Chris.
And my name is Ben Dravik, and we are very excited to bring y'all another episode 2 of Borderline FPL, where we will go look back at the week that just happened in the Premier League. So happy to have the Premier League back. We will look ahead into next week, what matchups we like, what players we like, what we like. And we will also take a look at our FPL teams, tell you how we did. Hopefully you did better than us, and we'll go from there.
I don't know, man. I had a pretty solid game week. I won't lie.
You did good. You did good. No, you
Hey,
hit some
for
good
your
points.
first game week ever in FPL, I think it was pretty solid as well, to be honest with
I
you.
was cool with it. I was
Yeah,
happy. My
yeah.
defense was abysmal, but that's about it.
Hey, just like Arsenal, you know.
Oh man!
Anyways,
Wow, we're already starting. All
um,
right.
just like Ben said, this week's epi will be, we'll get into the fixtures, kind of how the games went down, who won, who impressed, who didn't. We'll get into how our fantasy teams did, some thoughts going into next week, kind of about maybe who to captaincy options, who we may or may not bring in, if we're going to roll a transfer, if we won't, and just look into that. And then we will wrap up with our head-to-head fantasy player picks, and then get into next week's fixtures and who to look out for, who maybe to be thinking about bringing in, and we'll go from there. But guys, thank you so much for tuning back in. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the fixtures here, Ben, and we should be good to go, brother. This is my team, but we're going to go to fixtures here. Starting off, brother, you know what game was first.
Oh yeah, no. I had the unfortunate honor of watching all 90 plus minutes of that. It was first of all, credit Brentford, brilliant, brilliant on their part,
Yeah.
utterly brilliant from them. Dominated us in every aspect of play. We maybe had a couple chances. Their goalkeeper was spectacular. Ivan Toney, despite not delivering on the FPL end, was beyond spectacular. He was bullying players. And same old Arsenal. Same old Arsenal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
don't know
mean,
what to expect.
I agree with you. Bit of a dud in terms of FPL related returns. I think really nobody had any Brentford players apart from Ivan Toney, who, like you said, didn't return. He looked brilliant on the day and was causing us all kinds of problems defensively, but no returns for him unless you were the one crazy person that happened to triple captain Canos. I don't think
I
anybody had
respect
any
that. That's a
had any
power move. If
returns
you
from
did
here.
that, let us know. That's insane.
The one thing I would highlight, just fantasy wise, is if you do have Ivan Toney, don't panic. It's game week 1. He looked like the entire attack was moving through him. He was great holding up the ball, and he was playing off of Embuemo really, really well. That's probably my highlight here in terms of Brentford is someone to look for down the road might be Brian Embuemo. He's a 5.5 million midfielder, playing up top as a partner with Tony, just playing interchangeably. I mean, Tony's definitely the focal point, but he could definitely provide value at some point this year. But getting into the game, man, what did you think about the way Arsenal set up? What did you think about the way Brentford set up? Mindsets going into everything here.
I think that we should have known what Brentford were going to do. It's their first Premier League game in 76 years or something, I believe.
Yep.
We know they're going to come with energy, and the fact that you're Arsenal, you're literally Arsenal, and you weren't up for it. You weren't. You were second to every ball. You were second to every header. You were slow on the day. I think our best chance came in like the 89th minute when Raya had that save on Pepe, low driven by the front post.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing. We had a good spell of possession, but possession means nothing if you don't do something with it. We weren't creating shots, let alone good shots. And I think a lot of that, we can get into it, I guess, the Lacazette Aubameyang situation. For those of you that had Alba, for those of you that had Laka, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. The report is from Arsenal's camp is that the players were sick, and that group included Lacazette, Aubameyang, and the backup goalkeeper Runerson. For those of you that may not follow Arsenal as passionately and as much as I do, those are 3 fringe players at Arsenal. None of those guys are, despite Aubameyang being captain of the club, those are 3 players that have been rumored to be, we're shopping them around. So you can take, though they're sick, with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
but you could tell we missed at least Abba and Laka today. Friday, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean,
Started a
absolutely.
20-year-old striker, no link up play. We were
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough to watch. I think, and we can get into this more, there's definitely something going on deeper in this club right now. From top to bottom, it's just shambles, to be honest with you. Missing our two most probably senior players at this point, other than maybe Xhaka and the team, is tough going into a game week against every single one of the promoted sides were up for it this game week. I mean,
Yeah.
they're back in the Prem. They're going to bring the energy.
It's a home game for Brentford too. We're not even playing at the Emirates. We're playing
Yeah.
at Brentford. They're going to have that advantage.
Exactly. And
they took it.
They brought so much energy, we didn't match it at all. The fans were up for it, and we just had nothing. We had nothing going forward. We had no link-up play. For me, Arsenal, the only two players to highlight at all whatsoever are Emile Smith-Rowe, who looked like he was quite literally the only person in our attack trying at all. He had one kind of clear-cut chance on goal, but he slotted it right at the keeper. But it was a brilliant little turn that he had to make the space for him to get that shot off. He's good in those tight spaces,
but
and then Tierney, who it seems like it's almost like our entire attack is going through our left back, which is borderline insane to me. Ben quoted our team as cross and pray FC last year, and it feels the same. Nothing's changed.
We're right back. We're right back. If you look at every attack we had no link-up play through the middle. And I don't want to slander Balogun. He's 20 years old. It was his first Premier League start ever. He probably didn't know I mentioned this, he probably didn't know he was starting 48 hours before the game. That's a lot of pressure to throw on his shoulders.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to go after him. Obviously, we're missing Nketiah as well through injury. Roughly the same age, but a lot more experience in the Premier League.
Right.
So he's in a tough spot. He's fourth choice striker starting for Arsenal.
Right.
No, we had nothing. It was just get the ball to Tierney, hope he delivers a magical cross, and hope someone gets on the end of it. And we have no height in the box to win headers. We weren't threatening at all. Brentford had an easy day at the park. They just got to sit back, clear the ball. Yep. No trouble at all. No one's gonna come run at you.
Dude, what does Arsenal have to do to change?
Striker. You need to get a striker immediately.
All right, so you think bringing in players are gonna affect the way this season goes?
I think that you have to get rid of players. The fact that you have a Kolasinac who's on over 100K a week, not even making the matchday squad, is embarrassing. The fact that you have Willian not making the matchday squad.
I agree with you, but let's focus on the starting 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys aren't even starting.
Who to start?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about, do we need, like you and I have talked, we need not only a change in ownership, a change in who we think is the biggest poison to our club right now, which is Edu. His recruitment over the last 2 to 3 seasons has been disgusting.
Abysmal.
There's no other word for it. It's so bad.
He gets his agents clients. It's literally that simple. Right. He gets his agents clients.
And so I know you and I have discussed this. We would love to see, because there's a big discussion, Arteta in, Arteta out. Can Arteta do anything right now? Is it tactics?
Not with this slot. What did we change from last season? What did we change? We added Ben White. Are we expecting a center back to fix our attacking problems?
Right.
No. We didn't add anything different. We added the center back. If you look at the 11, there was no differences from the team that we had last year to the team we have this year, and we finished 8th, and we did not go out there. And I would point this out too. Arteta specifically said, "I want my players early in the window so they can have a full preseason with me."
Right.
Because if we go out there and we go get who we're linked with, James Maddison, I've seen Coutinho rumors today. Odegaard knows the system; he's been there. Rumors are we're going to get him on a loan with an option to buy.
Unreal.
We're nobody that we've brought in so far can change the attack.
It's circular movement to me at this point,
It is. We didn't see anything crazy different with Odegaard. I mean, I think he's a tiny player.
I don't want to dwell on Arsenal for the whole podcast, but obviously we're both fans, so we have a little bit more to say. The only thing I would say from a fantasy Premier League point of view for Arsenal, the only 3 players I would even remotely consider at this point are ESR, Emile Smith-Rowe, 5.5 million midfielder. He's still going to be good value at this point this year. Last year, he returned against Chelsea, who we play next. Mm-hmm. He's a big game player. He will provide value. I think he's the best under 6 million midfielder in the game, other than maybe Mbeumo, but we'll see about that. That's just a hunch that I have. And then Ben White for 4.5 defender if you just want somebody in the Arsenal defense to stick on your bench. And then, you're probably not playing him in the next 2 fixtures at least, against Chelsea and City, but maybe in game week 4 you'll consider him. And then if you want to go a bit more premium in defense, you have Tierney at 5 million, who's basically our entire attacking presence anyway. So
he'll get you assist. He'll get you assist.
Other than that, anything else you want to say about it, or can we move on from this?
We can move on. I'll say one more thing. For the ESR against Chelsea thing, Smith Rowe did have a goal contribution in both fixtures against Chelsea last season in the Prem. Mm-hmm. He assisted Saka's goal in the first game, and he scored the only goal in the 1-0 reverse fixture. So something to keep an eye on. Can he keep that streak going? Geez, I hope so.
Yeah. We'll find out. Moving on to a banger of a match, to be honest with you, of big fantasy value and importance as well. We talked going into preseason, going into game week 1, there was either your Bruno in or Bruno out pretty much in terms of your FPL team, in terms of budgeting your entire team. And looks like Bruno in won this round at least.
No, he was brilliant. He was brilliant.
Hat trick on the day, didn't score a single penalty or set piece. They were all from open play, and he looked great. Going into that, a big reason of why he looked so great, Ben, Pogba playing off the left.
Pogba's been vicious off the left. Ole started that last season. I noticed it. And actually, I noticed it the first time when they were playing us in the first fixture. We won that 1-0 actually with a penalty by Alba. But Pogba off the left was brilliant. And the reason that I think Arsenal won that game is because very early into that game, one of United's midfielders, I believe it was McTominay, I could be wrong, don't fact check me on that, got injured and Pogba had to slide central. And at that point, we started dominating possession a little bit more. But it was not in no small part to Pogba not being on the left because we had 4 assists this week, but he's brilliant off the left.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. The thing with Pogba has always been consistency. We know the levels that he provides. His ceiling is insanely high.
One of the best in the world when he's on.
He doesn't bring the floor all the time, Ben. He's inconsistent. But when he's on, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. His pass to Greenwood for that goal was unreal. Bruno Fernandez, as we said, the hat trick, 20 points for fantasy this week, highest scoring player this week as well. Captainers, congrats.
Well done. Congratulations
to those
that captain Bruno.
Good job.
You won.
Congrats. You went against the grain probably with almost everyone and their mother captaining Salah to Norwich,
which also worked out.
It was still a good pick. In hindsight, you'll say, well, Bruno was a better pick, but
but whatever. No, come on.
Yeah. Both great picks, but well done to those who have Bruno, and especially those who captained him. The 56% owned man, Luke Shaw, Ben, he finished on a 1-pointer.
I added him last minute
with the yellow card, and obviously leads breaking the clean sheet.
What a goal that was from Ayling.
Yeah, Ayling ripped that. He didn't score a single goal last year in the Prem, but he just decided to have a screamer.
And those of you, also interestingly, those of you that took Henderson, De Gea starting, De Gea was in net.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I was worried about that, which is why I kind of swayed away from.
It's just different because last year Henderson was after De Gea, I think.
Well, I don't think Henderson's fully fit at the moment, Ben. I think that's why De Gea
potentially
started.
Well, it's interesting to just watch if he comes back straight back into the fold, or if De Gea let up one wonder goal.
Definitely one to monitor, because a 5 million goalkeeper for Man United will provide great value this year.
Terrific.
If you that's 0.5 savings on Luke Shaw. If you don't want Luke Shaw, you can invest that somewhere else. Just in terms of clean sheet potential, but. Moving on, Pogba finishing on 16 points. We already talked about it. 4 assists. He becomes the 7th player ever in Premier League history to finish on 4 assists in a single game. The other 6 being Bergkamp, Fabregas, Harry Kane, Cazorla, and Jose Reyes. But puts himself in good company there. A couple Arsenal players in there, actually.
There's a lot of Arsenal players in there.
Yeah, but a great match from United. They brought great energy. First game out at Old Trafford. I know Bruno tweeted out, wanted to score my first hat trick in Old Trafford in front of the fans, so I saved it for you guys.
It's awesome.
How can you not love that guy? He's transformed that club, to be honest.
He really has.
And then the big fantasy value that I called him, we'll get into this later as well, but was Mason Greenwood starting up top for Man United as a 7.5 million midfielder. He was unlucky to only score a single goal. He had a couple chances in the match, and he looked threatening. We'll have to monitor if Cavani's just going to come straight back into the team up top. But I've said it earlier on. I think they should just give Greenwood a go. His finishing is unreal. His finish from that Pogba assist. That whole goal was just fantastic. But
that's what he does.
Looked good, looked threatening. And then the Fred goal is kind of a consolation. Not really much to consider for fantasy,
Fred.
but Leeds again struggling without their main man in midfield, Ben.
Yeah, I don't know. You see, it Leeds is such a Mickey Mouse, what team is going to show up type of club. There are some weeks where they're brilliant. They beat Man City last year on the road at City. And then they got, 6-1 to by United last year, and now 5-1 to them.
Yeah.
You don't know which version of Leeds is going to show up.
Right.
You really don't.
And I've seen Leeds fans consistently, tweet, if Calvin Phillips isn't in the team, don't back us to win the game. Because they'll just get overrun in midfield, which they did. But good game, strong performance from United. Big statement to start their Premier League
top of the table.
Yeah, big game.
And Brighton Burnley.
Moving on to Brighton Burnley, about as boring of a game that you could possibly imagine, as Burnley games typically are, to be honest with you. But Tarkowski with a goal, Maupay with a goal. Not a whole lot to talk about there. Burnley defense always provides some form of value in fantasy. Tarkowski is
Maupay a good one to keep an eye on, lady.
Yeah, Maupay is pretty much the only other option at 6.5 million if you were to move off of Ivan Toney without wanting to invest more money in that spot. Maupay typically isn't for me. He doesn't even start all the time.
They are still missing Welbeck though for the time being, so right. I feel like he will get a good run of games.
Yeah, he might. But the big fantasy thing there was Sanchez blowing the clean sheet there for almost everybody that has him.
3 minutes into the game, he did.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this game, Ben? I didn't have a whole lot on this.
It is what it is. I had Tarkowski in my drafts. See how many times I say that this year?
You did.
See how many times I scrapped it immediately. But
honestly, probably long term.
Yeah, long-term smart, but short-term, oh well. Oh, my God, dominant by Chelsea. Welcome to the league, Patrick Vieira. Oh, my word.
Dude, that's the first time Patrick Vieira's ever lost to Chelsea in his Premier League tenure.
God, I miss when Arsenal was good.
He was undefeated against Chelsea as an Arsenal
when
player.
Arsenal was good. Good Lord, I miss when we were good.
Yeah.
But, dominant from Chelsea. Just top to bottom.
Yeah,
Palace didn't. I think
shout out. Got to give a shout out here to one of our mini league opponents, Ryan Williams, who tripled up on Chelsea from the start, which is, don't get me wrong. I thought they had a great fixture against Crystal Palace, but I kind of look a little bit more long term, so I avoided them from the start. But he had Alonso. He had
Pulisic.
No, he didn't have Pulisic. He had Mount, who assisted. And then he had the other center back. Was it Christensen or
Rudiger?
I think he had Rudiger actually. But anyways, great job from him.
Marcus Alonso, man.
Marcus Alonso,
points. Brilliant.
But Alonso when starting is a fantasy gold mine. Yeah. Because he just gets so far forward. And I saw somewhere apparently in an interview this week he said he was going to score the first Chelsea goal of the season.
Guy's unreal.
He went and did it.
The guy's inevitable.
Mad respect to him. But the one thing I would say in terms of this game is, Chelsea. If you do own Chilwell, I wouldn't panic quite yet. I still think Chilwell is going to be first choice overall ahead of Alonso. But I think Chilwell's maybe a little slow coming back from Euros.
Oh no, I think he didn't play at the Euros once. He didn't. He literally didn't see 1 minute of
Yeah,
action at the Euros.
I don't know, but I still think that Chilwell will probably be
I
first
don't know
choice.
because if he keeps playing the back five, Alonso's a better wing back, and I've seen Tuchel even put Pulisic at wing back for the back five and make sure they
Yeah,
bomb forward.
definitely want to
So
monitor. If Alonso's starting and nailed in a Chelsea defense, that I think will
he's
keep the
money.
most
He's going
clean
in my
sheets this
team.
year.
He's going in my team.
Yeah, he's
That
big
being
one to
said, he has to
monitor,
go
big
up
one to
against Smith
watch.
Rowe next week, so we don't know how well he's going to do against that.
Oh, please
Can
stop.
he handle the
Stop the
Smith?
torture, Ben.
The
Stop it.
Smith.
Stop.
Everton.
Anyways, Pulisic starting in place of Havertz, who played 120 minutes in, what was it, that cup match?
The Super Cup.
Yeah, the Super Cup.
Yeah.
So that's I don't think Pulisic will be a constant starter. I think Havertz will jump back in here, and then
Well, Ziyech is hurt too.
yeah,
Ziyech is still
Ziyech's hurt, and then
He has a monster preseason and then gets hurt in the Super Cup.
yeah, and it looks like Lukaku is set to start against Arsenal next week. 11.5 million price tag on the Belgian striker. Ben, what do you think?
I think it's a very high price tag. I think it's a very high price tag. I originally was gonna try to get Lukaku in my team, and I'm not gonna lie to you. If you do have Lukaku on your team and you kept him on your bench, good for you. Because I saw Ivan Toney running at Pablo Mari, and I can't imagine how much Lukaku is gonna have fun with that. Because Gabriel's hurt, so it's gonna be Mari and White. I can't assume we go with a different back line other than you don't think he puts Bellerin at right back, do you?
In my nightmares, he might.
I'd literally put Maitland-Niles there. But either way, more or less, it's the same back line.
Yeah.
I think Lukaku is going to be
They're going to give us problems for sure, without a doubt.
I don't know. The only thing is, I don't think he goes 90 minutes. I don't know if he goes past 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not this week if you're a Lukaku guy. I mean, maybe I'll say that and he'll go score 2 goals against us.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't think he's a 90-minute guy yet for Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to avoid Chelsea personally for the next. I mean, they don't have super easy fixtures. I mean, Arsenal's a
fairly
hard
easy
fixture now, but it's not.
We looked easy.
So, I mean, definitely one to monitor. But Chelsea starting off strong as well. Their Premier League campaign. I have them having a good season this year, Ben. I think they're going to do well again.
Everton.
Moving on.
Coming from behind.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Richarlison here. If we're going to talk about one guy, it's got to be Richarlison. A goal and an assist.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing striker for Everton.
Mm-hmm.
He can drop into that midfield. He's the focal point. And we talk about how you just mentioned how Chilwell didn't play much of the Euro. He's not playing. Richarlison just played the entire Olympics and won a gold medal with Brazil.
Yeah.
He was playing every minute. He scored a hat trick in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he comes back and does this. So you want to talk about no time off. He doesn't care. Everton does not care. They're putting their best players out there and saying go for it, which could hurt them long run. But I mean, he showed no signs of fatigue or being tired or jet lag, anything. He was on it against Southampton.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Richarlison is that one for Everton that if you look at their win percentage when he's out of the team and you look at their win percentage when he's in the team, it's a
scary.
massive difference. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, but I remember seeing multiple stats on that. But yeah, starting off the season strong with a goal and assist. I think he finished on 11 points, which is definitely nice to see from him. Calvert-Lewin getting a goal as well, a headed goal. You know, what else is new? And the main thing for me to highlight is, I know you and I talked, we were kind of joking around, you know, who's going to provide for DCL this season, who they got. And honestly, they were putting in a lot of crosses. They looked dangerous.
Townsend. Look at Townsend got the assist.
Townsend, Iwobi as well. We
Iwobi, I know, man. My man had like 4 goals and 4 assists or something stupid like that, and his whole time at Everton, and then week 1 he goes and bags an assist.
I mean, that's what happens when we talk crap about a player. Just go ahead and bring him in.
I'll say it again. I don't think he does it again. Whatever. Do it again, Iwobi. Prove me wrong. Prove your price tag.
But yeah, look strong. Decore, that goal was an absolute
goal of the week. Goal of the week.
Bullet, man.
Goal of the week. Sorry to Ailing, but that's a goal of the week.
Fired that top right bins. It looked so good. He's one to monitor. I mean, he's 5.5 million midfielder in FPL.
He's not a goal scorer.
I agree, but here's the thing: if they do, because James is out right now, right?
Yeah.
If they start to shift away and Decore is playing in that free roam attacking midfielder instead of box to box, kind of more so like when he played at Watford and he's getting further forward. he can score goals.
No,
He
he's a
will
big
be
boy.
a
He
threat.
can win headers too.
Right.
Yeah, on corners,
So
he's good.
it's one to monitor. I wouldn't bring him in right away, but we could see. It would not surprise me if at some point this season people are bringing in Abdoulaye Doucouré at 5.5 million as a
Is there
budget
anything
option.
on Southampton that you look at that you think yes? Because for me, it's no.
I mean,
Their new signing Armstrong scored off the jump.
congrats to Adam Armstrong, debut goal, signed from Blackburn Rovers. I saw a stat that apparently he had the most shots taken in the championship last season. I don't know what that equates to here.
Nothing.
He took his goal well, but he's 6 million.
It was a mistake by Keane more than it was his. I mean, credit where it's due. Good finish, but Keane handed him a breakaway.
I agree.
So,
one to monitor.
him,
I
but
mean,
I'm
just
not
as a
doing it.
budget striker, but I'm not keen on Southampton. I think they could face a relegation battle this season.
Is there any value in Ward Prowse at this point?
Not right now. There always is at some point in the season. He'll score like 3 weeks in a row, back to back, banging free kick goals. But that's just, for me, Ward Prowse is just a gamble and always has been, because you can't predict when he's going to score. It's not like he'll score goals against bad teams, because he just scores free kick goals, and that could come against a good team or a bad team.
He's been linked with a move to Villa actually for a lot of the summer, so that's a good one to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Wow, Villa just didn't continue to improve, to be honest.
No, it didn't show against Watford, but we'll get there after this. Leicester Wolves.
Yep. Anything you had to say about this? Did you watch this game?
I did not. I did not get to watch this game, but I do want to shout out my goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. 9-point performance from my guy.
There you go. It's the 2 bonus points, and he had save points. So
I do also want to apologize to those of you that owned Adama Traore. My man couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat that game. Breakaways, chances, volleys, nothing doing. And like I saw his 2 main highlights. The one that he was literally cleaning on goal, could have sat down, read a book, and still been away with time.
Stop.
And he pulled it wide. And then another one, tougher one, bouncing on the volley, but near the top of the box, you should get a decent straight to Schmeichel. So
yeah, I mean, Vardy got his goal. It was kind of a dry game, to be honest with you.
It was.
Pereira with the assist. He's absolutely one to watch. He's a fantastic player when he plays. His move in the
build-up to that was unreal.
Yeah, he finished on a 12-pointer this week for fantasy. He's a bit of a premium. I actually can't remember right now, Ben. Maybe you can look it up while I'm looking at this. I think he's either 5.5 or 6 million in fantasy this year. I think he's 5.5 actually, now that I think about it.
We'll go with that.
And, Vardy getting his goal. Barnes didn't look super threatening today. Or actually, this was yesterday.
Be patient, Barnes owners.
The one thing of note here that we did talk about last podcast, looking for 4.0 defender gems, Amarte did start in defense for Leicester, and I think he probably will for at least the next 3 to 4 games.
I don't know. They just brought in Vestergaard.
True. Actually, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna pump the brakes on you right there.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Vestergaard was announced. I believe it was the day before, maybe even on match day.
Yep.
So then he comes in. He had a full preseason with Southampton. He's good to go. Premier League experience. So I'm gonna pump the brakes on Amartey.
No, I agree. Good value for the first week.
Good value for the first week, but I think Vestergaard comes in and takes that spot. If not next week, the week after.
Yeah, I agree with you. In terms of Wolves, not much to talk about there. I mean, the only thing of note is love seeing Jimenez back after that gruesome injury last year.
Outstanding for him to be back. I hope he rediscovers his form. If he does rediscover his form, he's a banging striker, one of the better ones in the Premier League.
Agreed. Agreed. I hope we see him back to his best. But not a whole lot to talk about in that game, at least. There was, like you said, Traore looked threatening, but he is the term I've heard on multiple occasions as crapid, meaning he's just super rapid and super pace, fast, but he has no finishing or end product. But he is 6 million midfielder, kind of playing as a partnership with Jimenez. He'll score goals at some point in the season. It'll be like he'll score a hat trick against City.
He only had 1 or 2 goals last year, so I don't know how much.
He didn't play that much last year under Nuno.
Yeah.
But I think Neto's out right now currently, and I think Daniel Podence did Podence start? I think
I
Podence is
don't.
out right now as
I
well.
think he's out as
So
well. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
once they come back, he might struggle
they're
for
a bit
minutes as
depleted.
well. But anyways, over to Watford Villa
What a game, Ben.
to the Emmy Martinez owners. I'm sorry, like he was
Wow.
the golden boy of goalkeepers last year in the Premier League,
Mm-hmm.
and the goals number 2 and 3 for Watford. I'm not putting that on Emmy. No, no one's saving that. I don't care. You
Yep.
have Allison, Ederson, Leno, whatever
Yep.
goalkeeper you want in that. They're not saving it.
Mm-hmm.
The first goal, however, yikes. That's the Emmy that we saw at Arsenal for 10 plus years before he went beast mode 2 years ago.
Yeah. Which one?
So,
Which one was the first goal? Was it Dennis?
It was the one that went right by his side. Yeah, it was Dennis. Went right by his side, and he couldn't get it somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like it was awkward positioning or something, but one that you definitely expect a goalkeeper of his caliber to save.
Yeah. I mean, Villa, we knew their first game without Grealish in years at this point. Well, how many years has he been at Villa?
His whole career.
Yeah. So it's been a while. We knew that quality was going to be lacking. It was good to see. I mean, not many people expected Buendia to start this game, but he did start. He came off some point during the game, but he looked okay. He didn't look great. Bailey came on for him, the other new signing. Yep. Leon Bailey, and he assisted the Ings penalty in the 97th. So, I mean, he just got brought down and got the assist for it.
I believe Chara was the one that got brought down.
Was it Leon Bailey? No, I don't
could be
think
wrong.
so. I think it was Leon Bailey.
Did Bailey assist McGinn?
Did he? No, Traore assisted McGinn.
Okay, then I have it mixed up. My fault. But either way, good on Ings owners. I'm one of them, so good for him for getting a meaningless
That
penalty.
is peak fantasy Premier League goal right there. 97th minute consolation penalty that doesn't matter at all, and he bangs it in for us. So
good for him. But you want to talk about Sarr. I know you do. So go ahead and do it.
My boy.
I know you do. I know you want to talk about Sarr, so do it.
Good. I don't know. For those of you who didn't watch this game, almost everything Watford was doing was coming through Ismail Sarr. He's 6 million midfielder in Fantasy Premier League. He looked amazing. He took his goal well. He had a couple other shots that weren't great. I mean, he's still young to an extent. He doesn't have the best end product, but I mean, as we saw 2 years ago when he scored a hat trick against a Liverpool who had kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League for years, he only
had a brace that game, I believe, not a hat trick, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't they win 2-0?
I think it was a hat trick, to be honest with you. But you might be right. Either way, he's a fantastic player. Looked great in his Premier League debut again this season, and definitely one that I've got my eye on when I want a Smith Rowe exit from my team. He's just 0.5 more, and looked great. Watford has good fixtures coming up as well. We'll get into that, and I think he'll offer great value. Dennis started at striker for Watford, 5.0 million, so 5 million striker in Fantasy Premier League. He took his goal well. I don't know if he's going to start regularly. I don't know if it's going to be Troy Deeney. I don't know what that's going to look like, but one to monitor for sure. Other than that, McGinn's goal was
class.
Great. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Great
what a
volley.
Finish. What a finish.
And he will do that from time to time. Not really my cup of tea for fantasy, but he's a good player. I like him. Other than that, do you have anything else to say about this game? Other than, Watford brought the energy, man. Vicarage Road was bumping.
No, congratulations to Watford. Back in the Prem, back with the win. You beat an Aston Villa side that a lot of people were very hype about coming into the year.
Yeah.
Despite losing Grealish, they brought in good players, and to be quite honest, you showed them the levels.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a good game. Good game to watch. Moving on.
And this one,
the boys.
The fantasy god himself, Mohamed Salah.
The king, the Egyptian king.
It's what he does. It's what he does.
I mean, the key to Fantasy Premier League, for those of you who are new to it, is every year that Salah is in the Premier League, captain him.
Play him.
Week 1.
Play him. Get him in your team and then play him.
I think he broke the record, right? That's 5 seasons in a row.
5 straight seasons in a row. He scored an opening day. Not to mention he assisted both of the other goals for Liverpool.
He was class.
Unreal.
He looked great. He looked on top of it. I think Liverpool are going to bounce back big time this year. I mean, we put him. I think you and I both put him at 4th, but I could easily see them finishing anywhere between 1-4,
Yeah.
honestly.
No, they have a ridiculous team, and they're still not even full strength. Robertson didn't play. We can talk about the Greek in a minute if you'd like, but they're not full strength. They were starting Ox and Keita in midfield.
Right.
Fabinho didn't start.
Right.
They have better options. Like Milner started in midfield. Like they're only going to get better. Bobby didn't even start. Jota started up top, which is a very interesting look. I think he's a 7-5 midfielder, Jota. Yeah, very, very interesting look for him. If he keeps starting at striker, that's terrific.
One thing to note is, Firmino did come on for Jota at like 60 minutes. So definitely he's not even like, I think a few people thought he was going to be nailed for the first 3 games maybe. But he's just a minute worry. He's one of those players in fantasy, just like Mason Greenwood, to be honest with you, that if they played and Phil Foden or Riyad Mahrez, if they played 90 minutes every week, they'd be gems. They'd be absolutely unreal fantasy value.
But they're never going to do
that.
But
they just won't. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you just got to monitor. If there's ever an injury to Firmino, if there's an injury to Salah or Mane, then
Jota's obviously anywhere across the line.
Pick.
He can play anywhere across the line too.
Absolutely.
And I think that if he keeps his form up and keeps up this well, it could be someone else being subbed and Jota being pushed to the wing.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. We'll have to keep an eye out on that one for sure. But let's see here. Moving forward, I think we had a brief interruption. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry about that, listeners. Sorry. I think we just had a brief little internet interruption there.
Apologies, folks.
But the only thing I would say is Norwich, don't even touch them. Don't touch them fantasy-wise.
Don't use Pookie. Don't use Pookie.
At least for now, their fixture list is horrible. You don't want any of them in your team. There will be a point this season that you'll probably want Pookie in your team, and whether you choose to do that or not is up to you. If you want the Pookie party, if you don't, but not for me. At least not for now.
Not now.
The
best player on Norwich for me was Max Aarons. I thought he was brilliant on the day. I would take him at Arsenal in a heartbeat.
He had a couple shots on goal actually as well.
Yeah, no, he was attacking a lot, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah. The big thing of note here, as expected, Kostas Tsimikas, and I think I actually pronounced that right this time.
That was good.
Started at left back for Liverpool, with Andy Robertson being out. And he will continue to start. The only worry there was maybe Milner would play at left back, but with their depletion in midfield right now, Milner will be playing in midfield. And even so, I think even if they had a full strength midfield,
I think he stays.
Yeah,
I think he keeps his spot.
I mean, he was taking corners for them, Ben. He was taking left side swinging corners.
Brilliant. He was doing brilliant. And then you add a Van Dijk back, or Van Dijk was back, but he's going to get some goals off corners. Yep. They have Matip, they have Van Dijk. Gomez didn't play. You have some height there. You're going to score some corners.
Yeah, 4 million fantasy Premier League. That is a gem.
Might be the best value.
Yeah,
might be the best value in the game right now.
100% has to be. I mean, his price will rise to 4.3 within the next 3 game weeks.
Yeah,
unless Robertson comes back before then. I don't know what his timeline is. Have you seen anything on that?
Not on that. It looked like a tough injury when I saw it, but I think it's a month, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. Only other thing of note for me is Trent looked back to his best, looked really threatening, could have easily had an assist.
Yeah.
And I think he'll provide great value this year, especially with their defense looking solid again. So, yeah, good on Liverpool. 3-0 to start off their Premier League campaign this year. Looked good. This was the best game of the week for me, hands down. Like I was tired. I did not want to wake up this morning to watch this, but wow, I'm glad that I did. West Ham, I just have to give massive props to West Ham in general as a football club, because within the last 2 years, they're in Europe this year for the first time in a few good years.
Long time.
But they look great again. I mean, Antonio...
Without Lingard. No Lingard either.
Right.
No Lingard to step in and do stuff, and they're just balling.
I will put my hands up and say, I don't know if I talked about this on last week's pod, but I saw Ben Rama in a couple of people's drafts, and I was like, why? Why cite Ben Rama? He barely even played last year. He just came on as like a sub appearance every now and then, did not look that impressive. But I gotta just put my hands down here and say I think
No,
I was
he had a
wrong
great
on this
game.
one. He scored and assisted. He assisted the Antonio goal, and he just looked good. He looked threatening. Well, it's one to monitor because there are rumors that Lingard is on his way back to West Ham. For those of you who don't know,
Didn't feature for United today, did he? Or Saturday, did he?
nope,
Lingard.
not at all.
Weird.
And his camp has released information to the public that they are definitely in talks of West Ham of a possible permanent deal. At this point in time,
I'm sure they'd love to have him back.
I think it's a smart move all around. I think it's a good move for United. I think it's a good move for him. He's not going to start regularly for United.
No, he's not starting over Bruno. Heck, they can't even get Van de Beek, who they bought for 35 mil, to get any minutes right now. So they're loaded in midfield.
Right. But my number one rule for fantasy is Antonio, when fit, is an absolute beast. So when he's fit, he's in my fantasy team for the most part. Unless they have horrible fixtures, he's just a beast. And if he didn't miss his penalty today, he would have had 2 goals and an assist instead of a goal and 2 assists, which he was lucky to have. They counted his missed penalty as an assist.
It's a weird one. I wouldn't give that to him,
which is weird because basically he netted 1 point for missing a penalty, because when you miss a penalty in fantasy, it's -2 points.
Yeah.
But then he got 3 points for the assist, so he got 1 point.
Sense.
But
it makes
weird.
Sense.
Weird little scenario there, but he looked great overall. I don't know. I mean, if he is gonna continue to be on penalties, that's even better value. I did not expect him to be on penalties. I thought someone else would step up for it. I don't even know, like maybe Creswell or someone.
A little bit of internet thing there.
Are you back? You're still frozen on my screen, but we'll keep moving.
Hello?
You're
there?
good. You're good.
Yeah. I got you. I can see you now.
So, they looked good. They looked threatening. I don't think you watched this game, did you?
I did not. No, I woke up too late.
But
Wilson getting it done for Newcastle early in the game. I like that. I still think he's good value. I think he'll continue. He's the main man for them. They don't have. Well, also, I think more impressively, like Willock just went back. I think that connection is going to be really useful.
Yeah.
I have Willock on my bench right now, as it is. I got him in when he was still an Arsenal player, and the rumors were circulating. So, if he keeps up his form, he's one that's going in my team.
The thing with Newcastle is if they score, Callum Wilson is almost always the one who scores, or at the very least assists the goal. He's always in the goals for them. Yeah. He is the talisman of that team, and if they score, Wilson is going to bring in FPL points for you. I like him at 7.5. I think these two, honestly, are probably the best 2 7.5 million forwards in the game right now, Antonio and Wilson. So
I agree.
Both great options. To those of you who had both Benrahma and Antonio, claps again, because Antonio came off with a 13-pointer. Benrahma finished with, I think, 13 as well. He actually may have been 12. But Antonio finishing the game on max bonus points bumped him up to that 13-pointer. But it was a great game overall. Creswell shot probably should have been stopped, to be honest with you. I was not impressed by Newcastle's keeper.
It's their third choice keeper, his first Premier League game.
But Aaron Creswell, as we know, fantasy wise, brings great value. He's typically on corners and set pieces for West Ham. So
he's the assist guy.
5.5 million defender for a team who I think will keep a good bit of clean sheets this year as well, with Fabi in goal. Looking good. Mm-hmm. Our boy Gucci headband, brother.
How long do you think Fabianski keeps that number 1 spot?
Oh yeah, because they signed that.
They brought in Areola,
right?
They brought in Areola.
I think Fabi's still.
He's actually from PSG.
Yeah.
He's from PSG, but yeah.
Well, he played for Fulham last year, but
yeah, he was on loan there.
I think Fabianski keeps that spot for now.
For real?
Yeah, I really do.
I don't know.
I mean, why wouldn't he just stop? Why wouldn't he just start then? Like, why wouldn't he start game 1?
Give the kid time to get used to the team and stuff. Maybe Fabianski's a little bit safer for your first match, but I don't know. I
would get that if it was an outside or an outfield player, but for a goalie, you can just
for me, I don't think that PSG are going to loan him because he's highly sought after. He's French international, used to be he's a good goalkeeper. I don't think PSG are going to loan a player like him somewhere where he's a backup.
Yeah,
they're going to loan him.
Could be right. It's one to monitor. I don't even know what his price is.
I don't know his price point either, but yeah.
But oh well. Alan St. Maximin, our Gucci headband king.
Love him.
He looked so threatening.
Oh my gosh! He fried rice.
I wish he
Cooked
didn't.
him.
They cooked him on Fantasy Premier League this season because instead of being a midfielder like he has been for like the last 3 to 4
Yeah.
seasons, they made him a forward and they made him 6 million. So he's borderline not an option in my opinion for fantasy this year, which stinks. But
It depends.
I
I need
love
to see
that
how
guy.
Newcastle line up more when they get Willock back. Are they going to play Willock in behind
Mhm.
ASM and Wilson? Is it going to be him on the wing? I want to see a little bit more of Newcastle before I go think about him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then
All
the
right,
last one.
final
What a
game,
result.
Ben.
What a result. They never needed Kane. They never needed Kane. He was holding them back.
Pain.
He was holding them back.
Pain.
Kane was holding them back. You know what? I saw the craziest stat today.
What?
The average cost of a player in Man City starting 11 was 50 million.
Oh my God, man.
The average cost of a player in Man City starting, because think about it: Ederson, Diaz, Stones, Mendy, stupid expensive. Grealish, obviously expensive.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean you can go through the rest of them, but the average cost was roughly 50 million a player to be in Man City starting 11,
Yeah, I mean,
and that doesn't include
City.
like a De
City
Bruyne
looked
coming off
just
the bench.
City looked
Off it.
lackluster.
They need a striker. They need a striker. They
Is
look
that
like
the problem though? Because
they had no one linking the play. You're playing Torres, who's a natural winger, as a striker.
but
He
when you say
lost.
link play, you act like that when Man City has the ball that Spurs don't have 10 men behind it because
Yeah,
it's not like City get the opportunity like other teams like Spurs did today to counter. Like they control the ball, they have to make space within the team in the midfield to get a shot off because it's almost like they're just parking the bus on City the entire game. So I don't know. I mean, you could be right. I mean, maybe if they have a good striker, he
there's
puts
just no
something
no
away
true
there.
number
But
9. They just kind of looked lost when they got to the edge of the box, and it was Mahrez and Grealish playing Volta football for a while.
yeah,
Like there was nothing going on.
Spurs look good, man. They looked good on the counter. I hate it so much.
Son with a
But
brilliant goal.
Sonaldo is probably the second best finisher in the league behind Kane, in my opinion, and he took his goal
Bergwijn
well.
could use lessons.
I
Oh my
think-
god.
Yeah, but I think one thing I will say is I do think at some point this season a lot of us will have Lucas Moura or
He
Dele
looked
Alli
rapid.
in our
looked
teams
rapid today.
because they're both at the smallest price they've been in Fantasy Premier League in a while now. They're both 6.5 million midfielders. There's so many options at 7.5 or under midfielders this year. If you don't have a price point in your team at like 7.5 and under, like 7.5 to 6.5, you probably should. I currently don't, but I definitely will transition to that once I move Mahrez out of my team, which we'll get on to Mahrez. But I think they'll provide great value and definitely ones to keep an eye out on. Not so much Bergwijn. I know he got the assist. I mean, Son
He
did
should
all
have
the work.
scored. He should have scored.
Yeah, but I don't like Bergwijn. I don't think he's that guy, to be honest.
Yeah,
You're not
that's
that guy,
fine.
pal.
Anyways, let's get into your team. You talked about Mahrez. Let's put your team up here and see it.
Okay. We'll go me first then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean you're on the thing already.
Fair
I'll let
enough,
you click
fair
over.
enough, fair enough. All right. Here we go, man. We got one heck of a game week. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, it was solid. Bruno and Salah, obviously main culprits.
Yeah, I mean, so
Antonio doing
looking at
bits.
this, I'm very happy with. I mean, there were a couple people in our league, and I was seeing a good bit of scores on Twitter that finished above 100, and to that I say, absolutely well done. You had a borderline perfect team this game week if you finished above 100. For those who did finish above 100, almost all of you had both Salah and Fernandez and captained one of them. Obviously, a little bit of point discretion if you captained Fernandez above Salah, that's even better. But I mean, for me, they were
There's not
never
a wrong choice.
Yeah,
There's not
for
a
me,
wrong
they were
choice.
never leaving my draft. Like there were a couple times where I was contemplating no Bruno because of the value that you can spread out through your team, but I was like, I can't go without Bruno Fernandez to start the season. It's just going to give me a heart attack. And I mean, you spread the funds out by going Mahrez and Son. Son scored, so it's not the end of the world. But
No,
I mean,
Son did
missing
good.
out on that
Obviously,
hat
Bruno
trick
was the highest scorer. Yeah,
is tough for sure. I mean, we see the average points for the game week was 69.
I was above that though. I was above average, I believe.
Well done. Well done. We'll get to that.
you.
Looks like I'm at an overall rank of about 700,000 out of about 7 million managers. So
not bad at all.
that's solid, man. That is solid. I will take that start all day. In terms of moves, I'm
Are you
holding.
making a transfer? You're
I'm
holding.
holding. I'm holding firm, brother. Nothing.
Check our Twitter throughout the week to see if he actually follows through with that,
Yeah,
folks,
absolutely. I
because
mean,
there's
always
that.
subject to change based on
Yeah.
injuries or knee jerk reactions. But my thought at this point in time, I like the way my team lines up for next week, and I'll bring that up real quick. We got, Liverpool at home to Burnley. That's 2 free clean sheets in my opinion. Might as well
Mhm.
just go ahead and give me the points
I
now.
know they did. Burnley did beat Liverpool at Liverpool
Don't
last
don't
year.
don't don't don't
That
don't
happened.
don't
That
crash my
happened.
party right now,
That
Benjamin.
happened. I
I don't want to
watched
hear it.
it.
I don't
It
want to hear
actually, I
it.
think that was the one that ended their home winning streak,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different story this year. I'm pretty confident they keep a clean sheet. I currently have the captaincy on Riyad Mahrez. So, for
Let's
those of you
discuss
who
that.
didn't watch the City game, he got hauled off around the
60,
75th, something like
70th.
that minute.
He wasn't good. He
He
didn't have a
wasn't
good game.
great. Then again, nobody on the pitch was great today for City.
Hmm.
I wasn't impressed by anyone on
I'd
their
say their best player was honestly Fernandinho. I thought he was
which
okay.
what does that say to you?
And it says
Like,
that he just did a good job of covering. He's
I
not
know,
like
but
creating
in
anything.
terms of
No,
their
that means
attacking
no.
prowess,
Oh
it
yeah,
was
nothing.
bad.
Sterling was bad. Grealish was poor. Mahrez was poor.
Actually, I thought Sterling was decent. To be fair, he was
I'm
the
not
only one
gonna.
that looked somewhat threatening to me today. But overall, not great.
Yeah.
One to monitor though, because I think a lot of us thought De Bruyne was going to be out for longer than he was. He was actually on the bench today. He actually came on for Mahrez.
Hmm.
It does scare me. Will Mahrez start next week after having kind of 2 poor performances in a row?
De Bruyne came off the bench. He could come in for Mahrez. You could push
Yeah, I
Grealish
mean,
wide. You could push Torres
if
wide.
I
There's
if I
deeper
go off
left.
of Mahrez and bring in a different City player, and then that City player doesn't play, then I'm just absolutely mauling anyway. So I'm just gonna keep it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the captaincy on him. We'll see. If I if I have the balls to go through with that, but
That's
I
wild.
I,
I
I
don't know if
do
I would
like
do
the
that.
fixture. Mahrez is known to just absolutely own against lesser opposition. So
Yeah, although
if he
Norwich,
plays, I love it. The thing with me is, and the thing with Mahrez typically is, if he doesn't play, he usually does not come on as a sub. Now he may, because they don't have their full strength back yet. So I mean, captaincy for me, honestly, if I were to change it right now, I would make Bruno my vice. I like
mhm.
that fixture better. Salah typically doesn't score against Burnley. I think his last 2 times out has not scored against Burnley. And we know Southampton love getting routed for no reason whatsoever, typically by Leicester, but I could easily
They
see,
got routed by United last year too.
yeah,
Remember?
I could see
Yeah.
Bruno having a field day. And Bruno last year was known for his away performances for some reason. He was like a different animal away
I
from
think
home.
I think that'll change for a lot of players considering fans are back.
Yeah, no,
I
I
think that's
agree
going to
with you.
make
I
it
agree with you,
road
but
trips difficult.
definitely if I don't end up with Riyad Mahrez as captain, it'll probably be Bruno.
Hmm.
But I like the Ings fixture against Newcastle. Ivan Toney going up against Crystal Palace, who looked very poor. I like it. Antonio at home to Leicester could easily score, in my opinion. I think that'll be a tough game. That'll be a close game. We've already talked about Smith Rowe's potential against Chelsea. He's played well against them in the past. I don't know if it depends what Arsenal shows up, man. If we play like we played
We
against
don't know what we're going to
if
do.
we played like we played against Brentford, it's gonna be like 4 or
We're
5
getting
nil.
relegated if we
Yeah,
play like we did against
yeah,
Brentford.
it's
I'm
gonna be
not
bad.
joking when I say that. We will get relegated if we play like we did against Brentford.
It's tough. And then we got good old 57% owned Luke Shaw in defense
Yeah.
as well. And then we got Brighton going up against Watford, which I like as well. They look strong this week, but I don't know if they'll continue that attacking prowess. So that's how I'm looking for the week.
Let
Do
me
you want to show yours?
yeah, let me share my screen. Get this up here and there we go. You see it now?
Yes, sir.
So I finished on 75 points. Also a little bit above the average. And top 2 million, top 3 million, you could say. It's not bad for my
There you
first
go.
week. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cash did not deliver. Shaw did not deliver. And Tierney
Oh, you're not
did
on your
not
points. Go to your points.
Oh,
You're on pick team right now. Scroll up and hit points.
yeah, my bad. Doesn't show. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Finished
So
on
yeah,
75.
still above average. So yeah, my back line was abysmal. I'm gonna bring in. I have Tamishkas on the bench. Yeah, he's gonna come in for Cash.
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna stick with the back line other than that. Son, obviously, thank you
You're
for scoring.
You're gonna start Tierney away against
Yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah, yeah. I trust him that much. He is literally our attack. You said it
Okay.
yourself.
Hey
Tierney
man,
is the attack.
you
You
do
said
you.
Tierney is Arsenal's attack. We're not going to bring in a player in the next 4 days that will change that.
I
Um,
agree with you, but also Matty Cash at home to Newcastle.
I will also say that Tierney earned a penalty against Chelsea last year,
Okay. Hey,
so I'm sticking with it.
go for it,
I'm
brother.
sticking with it.
Go for it.
Smith Rowe, he was my vice last week. Obviously, I love him. Salah, captain, obviously carried me. He was my pick of the week, but we'll finish after this. We'll talk about the picks of the week. You talked me into Mahrez. Not thrilled about it, but it's okay.
Hey, man. Play your
It
own
happens.
game, brother.
It happens. It happens. I mean, I was looking at other midfielders and I couldn't decide one anyway. So
Yeah. I mean, the
front
thing with
line,
Mahrez is I didn't super anticipate him scoring against Tottenham anyways.
yeah,
The
I was
Mahrez
just hoping
pick
he
for
would do
me was
something.
for the Norwich game. So
Yeah,
I'm just hoping he starts. And if he does,
yeah.
I'm happy with it.
In terms of changes, I don't know. I'm iffy on Bamford to keep him in. He's going up against Everton. Everton have tall center halves. They're gonna be tough to win headers against the likes of a Yuri Mina or the
Yeah.
likes of Mike Keane.
Mm-hmm.
I might go cheaper and grab Tony because I really like his matchup against Palace,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot. So that's the first move I'm thinking of making this week. In terms of captaincy, it's not changing. It's not going anywhere. It was never
Keeping
going
it
to
on
go
Salah.
anywhere. It was never going to go anywhere. It's staying on the boy. It's staying on the Egyptian king, and I hope he has
Okay,
fun.
go back to pick team for me. Let me see how you line up. Are you planning on playing Joe Willock at all, or are you just gonna he's just gonna sit on your bench?
He's sitting on my bench for now. For
Okay,
now, he's more of a
that's a good bit of money sitting on your bench, Ben.
I know. Well, Tsimikas is cheap. I don't know. I might change it up. I might change the whole
I'm
team
just talking
to.
about in terms of Willock being 6 mil. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
horrible.
it's not. I think he could be a really good value pick if he keeps up his form.
Yeah,
So we'll see what happens with him. He's definitely
I
an
think it could
investment.
be a good rotation between maybe him and Smith Rowe based off
Yeah,
fixture.
yeah. Based off fixture, either of them could come in or go out interchangeably.
Yeah,
But like I said, we'll see.
looking pretty
This is
solid.
where I'm at.
I don't know if you. I mean, I do like Tony as you said, but Bamford is pretty consistent. I would maybe not insta
After yeah,
change him.
maybe hold.
I mean, Leeds don't have great fixtures the first 2 game weeks, but I think around 3 or 4 they start to have really good fixtures as well. So, I mean, I'm
We'll
probably
see.
going to want a Leeds player.
We'll
I don't know
see.
if Bamford's that guy, but
Or what
we'll find
Harrison
out.
probably.
Harrison or Rafinha maybe, something
Stop
of the
screen
sort.
sharing. There we go.
But yeah, that about wraps up our teams, guys. And to wrap up, we wanted to go over our player picks of the week. And Ben, let me go ahead and share my screen again real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And let me bring up the transfer market. And we will take a look at some of the best players this week. Looking at this one, Ben did pick the man, the myth, the legend, Mohamed Salah as his player pick. He will not
Went
be
big
able
week
to.
one.
He will not be able to pick Mohamed Salah the rest of the year, but 17 points off of that pick, I take that all day. That's a great pick. Great start to your.
It's if you're gonna go big with one of them, they have to hit, and I just am glad I don't look like an idiot right now with Salah having a bad week or something. So I'm
starting off on
2 assists, 1 goal, very
a
happy.
9-point lead to me because my pick, which I'm very happy with, to be fair.
Yeah,
Mason
he was
Greenwood
class.
started up top for Man United, and he scored so he finished on 8 points. So Ben is currently up 17-8 going into next week. I think we had comments from Jake Hagan. His player pick was Emi Martinez. So
Oof. Yikes.
rough one
yeah,
for you, my guy.
that
But,
1 point.
Anyways,
1 point
guys, definitely tell us who your pick is this week. Ben, do you have? I will actually let you pick first this week because I went first last week. If you want to take a look at the fixtures here going into next week, we got Liverpool against Burnley. We got Villa against Newcastle. What are the other big ones? City against Norwich.
Arsenal, Chelsea,
Chelsea,
West Ham.
Spurs,
There's a lot of big name teams playing this week, which is why I'm not going to go there.
Okay, interesting. Who's
kind of I think I'm going to look towards that Brighton versus Watford fixture.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to go with your boy Sarr. I'm gonna go with
Wow.
your boy Sar. I like what he's doing.
Wow.
I know that his goal was a big deflection, but
Mm-hmm.
I like what I've seen from him. He's a guaranteed start if
Yep.
unless he gets injured, like knock on wood, he's 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's he's the focal point of that attack. That Brighton defense has been depleted. Obviously, Ben White coming out.
Yep.
I know it's just Burnley and they only scored one goal,
Yep.
but
Ben,
I
one
can
thing
see
that I
them.
thought of is I think we should do our pick, but we should also have a vice pick just in case they don't
They
play.
don't play or get injured or something
Um,
during the week. Yeah.
yeah. So
I'll let you make your first pick before I make my
that's
vice pick.
totally fine. But
Yeah.
going into that, the reason I say that is because I'm going to pick a fringe player, and that's going to be my boy Riyad. So
Oh my God, you're
I'm,
so big on
dude, I'm
Mars
doubling
this
up.
week.
I'm
You're
doubling up on
so
Mahrez.
big on
This is
Mars
the
this
game
week.
week that
You're
was
so
promised,
big.
Ben.
I
This
can't
was
wait till he gets. I can't wait till he
stop.
gets benched. I can't
You,
wait till he. You know, hey, fun fact. Fun fact. Pep Guardiola has never beaten two teams in English football.
Norwich being one of them. I do know that actually.
Do you know the other one? Quick trivia.
Um.
They're not currently in the Premier League.
Oh, that's probably what is it? Stoke,
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. Yeah, never would have guessed
Yeah,
that.
no, you wouldn't know. But yeah,
Um.
but he's never beaten Norwich. I'm just
Hey,
gonna
there's a first
throw
time
it
for
out there.
everything, Ben, and that's why my boy
That being said,
Mahrez is scoring
I
brace.
don't think Norwich is winning. Chat comment. I don't think Norwich is winning, especially after Pep just lost week one. I'm
Yep.
just giving Chris a hard time.
Yeah, no, totally fair. I mean, I think, like I said, if Mahrez starts, I totally back him to get in the points against Norwich.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those picks. But I'll let you do your vice pick, and then I'll go into
Honestly,
my vice.
so okay, so if we're doing vices, I'm be
Mhm.
real. First of all, I didn't think of one because I didn't know.
No,
This
that's
is a
totally
surprise
fine.
to me.
Neither have I. This is off the cuff.
Second of all, if we pick a vice,
Mhm.
are we allowed to pick them again later in the year,
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
it
I
the
mean, this
same
is just a
rules?
backup. So like the
But
only reason your vice.
if my, say Sar gets hurt in training on Tuesday, doesn't play,
Mhm.
and then my vice goes in, I can't pick them again ever because they're my one at that point.
Good question.
I feel like let's save the vice, tweet it out later. So follow us on Twitter.
Okay,
I don't have an answer for this right now.
that's
So
fair.
if you have a
We'll
vice,
tweet
go
out our
for it.
vices.
But we'll tweet them
No, I
out
like
later.
that. Yeah, I like that. But Ben, what's your big games for next week? What are you looking into?
Oh well, I'm writing for Arsenal Chelsea, so obviously I'm doing a deep dive into that. I hope
Okay.
Jorginho continues his disaster classes against Arsenal for my personal benefit, and being happy for once.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
nice. I forgot
I
what that was
think
like.
I
What's
think
happiness?
yeah, dude, well, no, we're Arsenal fans. Um, I think a big underrated storyline this week is Nuno returning to Wolves. He brought them to the
Mhm.
Premier League. He kept them in there
Oh,
twice.
speaking of that, I wanted to ask you a question.
Mhm.
You said last week that you think Nuno's a bad appointment for Spurs. Are you
Yeah,
still thinking this?
yeah. No, I'm not being fooled by 1 week. Willian had 3 assists the first week he played for Arsenal. Mkhitaryan had 3 assists the first week he played for Arsenal. I'm not
Okay.
falling into the great start, buddy. You're gonna do terrific things. No, I'm not falling into that trap. I've done it with Mkhitaryan. I did not do it with Willian. Ask any of my friends. Even after week one, I had people being like, "Oh, you sure you don't want William? Look at him. He's doing brilliant. He did 3 assists, or I think it was 2 assists officially, but 3 FPL."
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh, look, he's doing brilliant." I'm like, "No,
Mm-hmm.
this is the biggest false image you will ever see in football." And sure enough, I was right. So congrats
Okay.
to Nuno. Congrats to Spurs. That
Okay.
pains me to say, but congratulations. Brilliant win. Brilliant start to the season.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on Nuno being the next Don of the Premier League.
Okay. We'll find out. We'll find out.
But
I
I
did want
think
to
that's
ask
a
you on that.
very, very interesting
Um,
storyline, him returning to Molyneux.
Yeah, I agree.
What
That'll
about
be
you?
that'll be a good one to watch. I'm obviously excited to watch City play Norwich until I wake up and see at 9:00 a.m. in the morning
Can't wait
that
till
Mahrez is on the bench.
Mahrez's bench. I can't wait.
Pep
Can't
roulette
wait.
is just the most brutal thing in this game, man. I hate it
Yeah,
so much. But
that's the scary thing.
the other one I want to watch is see how Villa bounces back against Newcastle. I want to
Mhm.
see if Leon Bailey is going to be a starter in this team or if he's going to be kind of coming off the bench again, getting used to it.
I
I was
think he
actually
should.
surprised to even see him come off the bench game week 1.
I think he should be starting
Um,
over Muhammad.
and then I also
Or
want to
not,
see if
yeah,
Leeds can
Ghazi,
bounce
sorry.
back against Everton. That is my pick of the week. I think that's going to be the best match of the week is Leeds versus Everton in
All
terms
right.
of competitiveness.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there. But anything else you want to say, Ben? I'm about done.
No, I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'm doing FPL. I like it. It's fun. I
There
was
you go.
above average for the first week ever, and I was above average. That's more than I can say for most things that I'm doing in life. So Very thrilled to
Dude, we
be at
take the
it.
small wins bit by bit,
Dude,
bro.
small wins, bro. I got, what did I have? 75 points. You had 95. I was a Bruno Fernandez away from tying you. That's
There you go. Hey, that's one way to put. That's
math.
definitely a way to look at it. To be fair,
Go.
I think you froze up a little bit again, but
Oh, me?
I can hear you a little bit. But anyways,
Okay.
moving
Go
on.
ahead, close out.
Yeah, no, we're totally fine. Yeah, that about does it for this week's episode, guys. Please comment below who is your player pick of the week. Also, please comment anything that you want us to go over. We're definitely willing to go over any topics you may submit. And if you have any podcasting advice, because we are still new to this, we're working on a bunch of things. We got a logo coming out sometime soon. Again, we do have the @, so go ahead and follow us on Twitter @BorderlineFPL. Please give us a follow. We would appreciate it. Again, we're gonna send out tweets for our Vice picks for the week, and we also send out our teams right before the deadline every week, just so you can keep up to date with what we're doing, and we want to interact with you guys as well. So definitely give us a follow there. We are Borderline FPL Podcast on YouTube. Obviously, that's what we're posting to majority of the time. We will at some point hopefully transition to also getting this audio stripped and down to Spotify, but there's a lot of stuff I need to learn before we get into that. So the first season may be just YouTube. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for tuning back in. Again, we are Borderline FPL Podcast, and my name is Chris, and that's Ben. And Ben, anything else you want to say?
Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it. And yeah, we will chat with y'all soon. Will I beat Chris next week? Let's find out.
We'll find out. He's got a 9-point start. Great start to the year. All right, bye guys. Thanks.